Guys, we ready, right? Yeah! Without further ado, guys, Gaten Matarazzo.
Hi guys, how's everyone doing?
Don't worry.
Good to see you. Sorry, I thought my phone all.
Don't worry, while you were gone, I told them your entire life story.
That good. Okay, cool. So that leaves me a lot of room to add more. That's fun.
Guys, give it up for Gaten. Give it up.
No. Thank you for being here. Seriously, it actually means a lot that people would just want to listen to me talk because that's all I do anyway. So.
It's hectic down there, huh? You having a good time?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And you're on the weekend for us.
Yeah, I'm here today. Here tomorrow.
All right, so
It's a great show.
We get to celebrate you.
Yeah.
Not only you. Also, today's a very special day.
Yeah, it is actually.
And they know what day it is.
I think most people might know what day it is.
Guys, what day is it?
Actually, does anybody know why it's Stranger Things Day?
They do.
I see some hands. I see you look real ready. Like, wait. Back there, red shirt. Yes, he did. Will Byers went missing on this day in 1983, November 6th. And that's why this is Stranger. I thought that was a cool way to make a Stranger Things Day.
Yeah.
If we were going to have a day. What's going on over there?
I know.
Everything all good?
Everyone's good.
We're living life. It's good.
And since we're talking about back in the day, which is 83, you're familiar with the term where it started and how it's going?
Yeah.
So I want to show something special.
Okay.
So all of you.
Oh God. Okay.
Can we play this?
Where are we playing? Right?
We're playing it right here. I mean, you can't really see it.
But... So I'm just. I'm just seeing it.
That's you, man.
Is that me?
That's you. Little you.
I can't see me. Do I have super long hair?
How's he look, guys?
Oh God.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Wow, that's actually.
So
Not my voice. Oh.
I feel like.
So in this clip, I asked you a question. This was about 5 years ago. This was my very first interview ever.
Wow. Was it really?
It was with you.
Wow, that's
It was
cool.
with you.
That's exciting.
And I asked you. I said, referring to your character, what would what would Dustin's playlist be? And you said Phil Collins.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. You said Phil Collins.
For genuinely, I stand by it. I think Phil Collins, but also for some reason, I think as he's gotten a little bit older into the season 3, especially, I base a lot of what I think. You don't hear him listen to music a lot. You don't get any insight into what his music taste might be. So I judge it by his clothes. Depending on what he wears, it's quite clear as to what he might listen to. And I think he might go for alternative techno vibes. So I think he'd probably be a big Talking Heads fan. I think he'd vibe with Pink Floyd too. I know it's a little bit before his time in that, but I think he'd vibe with that. I think he would be a Tears for Fears fan for sure. And also I think he would be a big Madonna fan, but secretly. So that's, I stand by.
So that was then. Let's talk about now. Let's talk about where are you at now? What have you been up to? Because we had a bummer of a year.
Really?
What happened? Last year. It was
oh man!
Of last year.
Oh, there was that little thing.
Little thing. And I heard that you worked.
Yeah.
You went out and got a regular.
Yeah.
job?
This is it's not even a big thing. I remember so I worked. I was a food runner at a restaurant over the summer last year at a restaurant that was local to me, and a lot of my friends and my siblings worked there. And I just did it because I needed something to do over the summer because I got really way too good at Mario Kart to the point where I was people were like, if this was an Olympic sport, gold medal, which is not a good thing. I think it's fun to say I'm really good at it, but it's not a good thing. So I needed something to do, and I didn't know it was gonna be a thing. And then a couple people recognized me, and then somebody with a camera showed up at one point. And then it became like, there were like headlines about it, which was really funny. Because people kept telling me, like, that's awesome. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not awesome. It's whatever.
So literally just out of boredom, you know?
It was literally out of complete boredom.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't even think I would do that.
It was great. It was fun, because I made good friends. It was a good time. It was a good way to kill time. It was close by to where I happened to live. It was great.
You're
I had a great time.
such a responsible young man.
Nah. I wish.
I gotta
wish.
shake your parents' hand because I probably would have just played Mario Kart.
Yeah, I missed it honestly. Like I was going through like withdrawals. Like I was like, I gotta play Mario Kart. I don't know why it was Mario Kart too. I know it's like dated. I know it's like a really weird niche game to get really, really good at. Like most people were playing Super Smash Brothers, and I was never good at. Everyone here plays Super Smash Brothers. Probably a bunch of people. It's Comic-Con. Everybody here plays Super Smash Brothers. But I was just never good at it. I'm still not good at it. So I needed to find something where I was actually really good at it. So I picked Mario Kart.
That's cool.
Still went the Nintendo route.
But that wasn't the only thing you're doing because now you have this awesome, very wild show. Called Prank Encounter.
Yeah.
Dude, the things you're doing, man.
It's fun.
For you.
Yeah, for me, not for anybody else involved.
I'm not gonna lie. I watched this thing, and I was literally in tears, just crying, like laughing.
Laughing, crying? Okay,
crying.
good.
Like, who has seen this? Who has seen the show? Who watches the show?
There's like 4 hands.
No, you guys need to listen. If you're into the pranks, like this is a levels up from Punk'd. Like this is levels
we
up.
had the same creative team as Scare Tactics. So if you knew that one, and when they approached it to me, they're like, "We'd like you to host." And I was like, "What's the gist?" And they were like, "So we did Scare Tactics, and now it's just going to be Scare Tactics, but we're not holding back anymore." I'm like, "You held back on Scare Tactics?" Like a dude got stabbed, and they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, let's do this."
So, are you a part of like the creative process of that thing? Like, are you coming up with some of these scams?
For the most part, I'm not a part of like the writers' team and stuff. They usually approach and see how I feel about that, and especially if I'm going to be involved in the pranks, because I'm usually just hanging out in the control room, watching the monitors and laughing. Literally, it's the easiest. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Like I literally just keep in contact with everybody who's doing the hard work. Our improv actors who work on that show, who play a bunch of different characters and a bunch of different pranks. They're the ones who are doing the heavy lifting and stuff. It's just fun to get to sit back and watch. I get the fun part.
Yeah.
I also get the scariest part, because if anybody's getting decked, it's me. Seriously, because I'm gonna pop out and like most of the time, it's not like people are like, "Oh, now I get it." Most of the time, it just is weirder. Like everything's going down and this weirdest, scariest thing, like there's like teddy bears running around and stuff like that. And then I jump out and I'm like, "Hi!" And they're like, "The guy from Stranger Things." And they're like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "You're on a show." And they're like, "You're not helping." And they're like, yeah, so it usually takes a couple minutes until they realize what's going on.
Do they always recognize you, or like
no? Which is not good. It's so much better if they recognize me, so they can at least be like, "Okay, now I know something's up here." Sometimes they're like, "Hey kid, what are you doing here now?" I'm like, "I'm here now, and I know what's going on." They're like, "Can you just help me?" It is fun. It's certainly fun. It's like the most anxious couple of hours leading up to the reveal, and go like poop in the pants, like so scared. And then like the minute the reveal happens, it's like, whew, okay, now it's great. And I always talk to everybody afterwards just to make sure that they're okay. And everybody seems to have had a great time. Everybody we pranked so far has had a good experience. I mean, not at the time, but like in retrospect, all of them are pretty excited to be on the show.
And so much detail.
Really lucky.
I sometimes sit and I watch this and I'm like, would I fall for that? But there's so much detail.
That's the thing. It's like
so much.
I hear the concepts and I'm like, no way. And they're like, dude, think about it. You're in that situation. You don't know anything. Even if it is completely far-fetched, the fact that anything like that is going down, your first thought is going to be like, this isn't real. Your first thought is going to be like, what the hell is going on? Like, it's just like fight or flight. Like, yeah, fight or flight response, pretty much. It's just like when that kicks in, people tend to critically think less. So it works out in our favor.
So, okay, we've gotten that out of the way. It is Stranger Things Day.
It is.
And we've gotten a whole bunch of goodies today. We got a brand new trailer.
Yeah, we do.
That's
Yeah, teaser came out, guys. I don't know if anybody saw it. Teaser came out this morning. That's pretty fun.
I haven't even watched it yet, but I will be doing.
It's fun. It's a great one.
I saw a little bit of it, but I like to do reactions.
Sure.
So,
yeah, I hadn't seen it at all before. They only showed me the trailer that I was in, the last one they released, the Creel House trailer, which I thought was dope. It looks really cool.
This one introduces a new setting.
Yeah.
Can we talk about it? Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah,
Let's
sure.
talk about. So now we're in California.
Looks like it.
Can you give us some context around this?
Probably not. I gotta steer clear. Like, I so would, but I know I can't do it, guys. I'm so sorry. But yeah, not in Hawkins anymore. That's been the catchphrase since we released our first teaser, I think, a while ago. Long time ago. Yeah. It's in California. Yeah. Oh, God, I don't know what to say.
It's in California?
Yeah, and it looks like it.
So it's in California, or is it a who's in California?
Oh, I meant like the setting of the teaser, as in it.
So it's just the trailers in California.
Yeah, that would be so funny. If oh man, I think the best press, the most genius press releases on planet Earth would be if we made teasers that were completely apart from anything that had to do with the plot of the show, and just lied to everybody, just so people could like theorize and break it down and be like, what are they doing? Why are they here? And then the show comes out and we're like, psych! That'd be great.
So what can you tell us about Dustin though in season 4?
Well, what's really cool is that this is it's a very formative year for them. This is their freshman year of high school,
wow.
And that's really it's anybody here in their freshman year or going into their freshman year. Do you like it? Nah, right? Nah. Most people are like, yeah. So there's that general consensus on that. Is that it can be a rough ride, but what's interesting is that there's an attempt at least at a new sense of confidence and the turning of a new leaf. Yeah. The start of a new chapter in the lives of Mr. Henderson and his friends.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting. It's cool. It's a cool concept to see. I didn't think we were going to be able to get to see it that far, but it's cool to get to see them going into high school. That's really, really fun.
That's the best part, to see you guys actually grow up.
Yeah.
And we don't know anything about any season 5 or anything yet, right?
I don't know just yet. I'd like to know. That'd be great.
There's been rumors about spinoffs too.
There's always been rumors about spinoffs. I know that Matt and Ross. I don't know. I've heard other people say that Matt and Ross have talked about doing a spinoff. I haven't talked to them about it. I haven't heard anything about it, but that'd be a lot of fun. But I think if they do that, it wouldn't probably be until way down the line.
Who are your picks to do a spinoff if there were one? And you can include yourself, but who would you look characters?
I don't know. I don't think a Dustin. I don't know if I personally want to see a Dustin spinoff. I think I want to see a spinoff of the most minuscule characters in the show. For some reason, I really want to see a spinoff of Keith, the worker at the arcade and video store with the Cheeto fingies. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. I want a full-fledged YouTube series that's skits, 10 minutes long, of what Keith does on a daily basis and what he happens to find, little escapades he happens to find himself in. It would be my favorite thing on the planet. Maybe we show up every now and again, just but not in the forefront of anything. You just see us in the background playing on the arcade games, and we're just there, but have nothing to do with the plot.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be so much fun.
You gotta start writing them.
I know.
Yeah, start writing.
Oh, it'd be great.
So I want to open this floor up to you guys, so that you guys can talk to Gaten, see what's going on, ask him some questions. But we had did a little contest earlier.
Ooh.
We did a trivia thing, and we had a winner.
Who won?
Who won the first question?
Who won? I can't see nobody.
This gentleman here.
Oh, what's up, Jordan? Hi, so you won trivia?
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
My question was, out of all the pranks you've done and prank encounters, which one's your favorite and there's a reason?
Yeah, so my favorite was Camp Scarecrow. That was in our first season. The reason is because we were able to work with explosives, which is always really, really fun. And I get to watch stuff get blown up, so that's cool. And also there was a little bit more security in that because they were in a cabin, and nobody in their right mind is going to want to leave that cabin, even if there was nothing going on, because it's already dark out. They're like, this is cozy, I'm in here. So it was probably the least amount of anxiety going into it initially, because everything was contained in one room, and there was no need to move around. There was no need for anybody to be separated, and nobody really needed to keep an eye on our marks for the time being. We could just relax and let it play out. And I remember I liked the marks a lot afterwards, getting to meet them. I think their names were Cameron and Reagan, I think their names were. It's been a hot second since we filmed that, but I just remember them being really, really sweet, and because of that, I felt really, really bad. But they ended up being really, really cool. It was a fun night too. It also was late. I remember how late it was that night. We ended up we didn't finish up until probably after midnight. It was fun though. It was a lot of fun. Thanks, Jordan.
Anything else? You guys can just line up. Come line up.
Violin.
Line up. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, we got a number 2
yeah,
winner?
We got a number 2.
Oh, sorry guys, we got a number 2
Yeah, we got
winner,
a number 2
as well.
Thank you. Yeah, it was League of Our Own.
I answered your question? What was your question? Again, from the mic. We got to do this.
We need to hear you.
My question was about the timeline on Stranger Things, because there's been a couple of years
Yeah.
between now, and because you guys are so young,
Yeah.
and how much you're going to change between seasons
Sure.
might not match up. to
No,
the
it certainly won't. That's a big concern. Initially, that was a concern from the beginning of the show, that they knew that they were gonna work around. Pandemic came out of nowhere, so that kind of halted things. And I guess the best goal is to work through it as much as possible. I always notice that what's really great is that there's little milestones in which people suspend their disbelief so much more than they should. Now that we're in high school, they're like, oh yeah, now that makes sense that 20-year-olds are playing 14. But just because they're in high school, that's okay. And then the minute you have almost 30-year-olds playing teenagers, it's not acceptable unless they're outside of high school. They've graduated and they're 19, 20. So you can be 30 and play that part. You know what I'm talking about? You suspend your disbelief, depending on certain situations. So with Steve and our teenagers and stuff, they're all in their mid to late 20s and playing 20 and 21, 19. And so I think what also helps is the contrast between the ages of the characters. So you have the older kids who are playing the teenagers who are now in their mid to late 20s, and you have the younger kids who are now late teens, early 20s, who are playing a significant amount younger than the others. So I think that also assists a lot. But of course, in Hollywood and stuff, and a lot of movies, it's always been something that people have just accepted.
A little
I think
jacked up.
there's everyone, for some reason, everybody just plays a little younger than they actually are. Look at all the Spider-Men. Even Tom, people are my favorite thing in the world is when those movies came out, and they're and now Tom, is it because he's the perfect age? I'm he's 22. I'm he's playing 15. People are yeah, at least he's not 28. I'm I guess you're right. So, yeah, all right, I'll take it. Yeah. So I guess, just we rely on people suspending their disbelief enough. And I think I'm 5'4", so it works out. I still have braces and I'm super short, so I think I can continue playing a freshman for some time.
Probably, but what's your favorite season of Stranger Things? If you can remember your favorite episode?
Yeah, sure. Favorite season to film was certainly 4. I think because it was so satisfying getting back into it after we had the long hiatus and after there was a lot of inconsistency with it all. So once we got into the ebb and flow of it all, then it felt really good. It felt like home. And it was what we needed after a rough year. My favorite season to watch, however, is probably season 2. I like season 2 a lot because I was proud of the direction that they ended up taking it. I like season 2 because their big thing about 2, and even 3 and 4, but especially 2, when differentiating it from the first season, is that they didn't want it to feel necessarily like a second season, but more like a sequel. That was what their big thing was, because they're all the sequels of the 80s are probably the best sequels in the world. You have Terminator Judgment Day, you have Empire Strikes Back. These are better movies. These are the movies that defined their genre, and they're after the establishing first go around. And that was what they went for, and I think it worked out. I loved the Demodog stuff. I loved the Dart stuff, filming it, and it pieced together quite nicely. I liked it a lot. But my favorite episode, no, crap, I don't know if you remember this one. Actually, my favorite episode was season 2, episode 8. R.I.P. Bob. I know, literally, right? Sean is so good. Dude, you're welcome. Sorry to remind everybody.
My question was, sorry to pause this silly goofy move, but my
Hey,
question
no.
was, do you regret anything going into acting at such a young age? Like, you gained popularity so fast?
Regret is a word, for sure. Regret, I hate that word. No, I hate that word because it's definitely something that keeps approaching and going in the back of your mind. I think everybody has a word that's like, ooh, that's something that either you dwell on or it triggers you in some sense, and regret is a big one for me. But no, I don't regret it because if I didn't end up doing it, I wouldn't be able to be a part of this incredible show. I probably wouldn't have started acting at all to begin with if I didn't do it when I was younger. And I think if I guess you'll never know. I guess I would have never known, but to have to look in retrospect, to understand that I very likely may not have decided to take this path with my life, it's a very depressing thought to me. The fact that I get to do this is the greatest joy of my life, and it's incredible. However, yeah, there's a lot of weird stresses that come along with it, being in the public eye at a very young age, especially younger than I am now. I think it's very formative years of your life, you know? It's the years in which you're supposed to make mistakes. It's the year in which you're supposed to do dumb things. So your parents and the people in your life and the adults in your life and even your peers can say, knock it off. What are you doing? And I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that. But there was a constant fear that, that it wasn't just going to be the people in my life who I love and who I know trust me saying these things to me. It's going to be people I never met, and people who didn't know me, and people who I didn't know. And so there was always that in the back of my head. Whenever I was I was with friends and we were playing Manhunt and we were hopping fences into properties. I was like, I'm not doing it. And they're like, why? I'm like, because I'm not doing it. Yeah. So I guess there was a couple things. I guess the only thing I missed out on was being a dumb kid and having the freedom of doing so to an extent in which I wouldn't necessarily feel like there was as much scrutiny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's such a small price to pay for such an incredible job.
I love that answer. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love the question.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
So my question is, how would you handle the situation in Stranger Things in relation to Dustin?
What do you mean? How do you mean?
How would you handle it?
Oh, if I were Dustin, if
Yes.
I were actually
Yes.
me as a person was Dustin. Oh man. I certainly would not be as. The thing about Dustin is that I always compare this, and I've recently compared this because I just recently started getting into Doctor Who. There's an episode in David Tennant's season. I was like, that was a very Dustin thing to say of him when they're on the train. I don't know if anybody remembers this, but they're on the train and it shuts down, and then there's that entity that gets inside her mind and starts repeating everybody. I don't know if it's Doctor Who fans, but it's super scary, and he just seems fascinated and excited by it. He's horrified, but he's genuinely really ecstatic by it. And why are you so happy right now? Because this is still fascinating. I know I'm terrified, but this is still really cool. That would not happen. Dustin always has that. Dustin always has that that need to learn more, that excitement. This is something I don't know about. I need to learn more about it because even though it's probably going to get me killed, if I end up getting to live my life not knowing what this is, I'm going to regret it. And I'm fine with being nope. I don't care if I don't know what you are. I'm going to go home. Yeah, so a little bit more bravery, a little bit more eagerness to be aware of everything.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thanks for coming to Rhode Island again.
I'm glad to be here.
So my question is, when you shot the scenes with the Mind Flare, how, I know there's a lot of special effects.
Oh, yeah.
How do they do? Do they have stand-ins, or is there little cues for you? How's that?
All of the above. There's a bunch of different ways they do it. I remember when I was working with Dart, the little baby Demogorgon. Spoilers, by the way, guys. I know. It's been a bit. But the way we would do it is they'd have this. They have a little gel mold of what he looked like as a slug. I call him Sushi Dart because he looks like a little piece of nigiri sushi. And yeah, it was. So I call him Sushi Dart. And then there's also a little reflective ball that they would have me do another take with, and they'd put dots all over my hands for animation purposes, and they'd have a little reflective ball, like a mirror, but in a ball form.
Okay.
And that was so that they could reflect the light as accurately as possible, because that's the biggest part of animation. That's what ends up making things look either great or not is if they've got the lighting right, whether it's going to look like it's shiny and animated or whether it's going to feel like it's naturally in its environment. So they have a little silver ball that can reflect the light as accurately as possible so they can then, I don't know how they do it, they're incredible people, I have no idea what they do. But yeah, the filming experience was a little bit weird. I guess that's the job though. You have to suspend your own disbelief in situations in which you wouldn't necessarily think it possible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My question is, if you had to play another character on Stranger Things, who would you play and why?
Murray. Because, yeah. Are you kidding me? That's so much fun. How fun is that role? Dude. And also, he was right. People keep forgetting that. Like, season 2, he walks in, and they're like, it's Russian spies. And even in retrospect, like, us looking back at that, like, at the time, we were like, it's not Russians, it's just Hawkins' lab. But no, it was. It was actually Russians in Hawkins. So that's pretty fun, first of all. And secondly, it's just, I mean, I could never, because Brett's incredible. Brett Gelman plays Murray, and he's an absolute legend. He's incredible and such a fun role. I like the comedy there, good comedy aspect. He adds a fun dynamic. I love when he works with David. That's a really fun duo. Talk about a dynamic. You said Dustin Steve, I say Murray Hopper. Genuinely, that's a fun little duo there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
My question is, what do you love most about Dustin?
His eagerness, like I was saying before, his thirst for knowledge, his thirst to know everything around him, but also what I like about him is something I think I see in myself, and maybe not something I like about myself, but from an outsider's perspective, looking at a person that's pretty funny, is when people like hide behind their humor. Like he's obviously stressed and he's obviously really scared, but the best way he's gonna make himself and people feel better is to try and get a laugh in there. And most of the time, the best part about it is that the jokes never land. That's the one thing that I notice about like the comedy in that show and with the character, is that he always throws something in there and his response is always like, really, dude? Right now? I'm like, yeah. So I just thought that was always really, really funny. Thank you.
So without giving anything away,
Oh,
could
boy.
you say a favorite line from the new season?
9. I can't give. No, I can't give. I can't say. I can't say anything from the script. No. You know, I probably could, but I'm not risking it. I'm not risking it. I'm not getting a phone call in 2 minutes. I'm not needing that. Like it's gonna be like when Peter ghosts Nick Fury in Spider-Man Far From Home. Like I'm gonna get a call on an unknown number and be like, oh, I knew it. I knew they were listening. So I cannot. I'm so sorry.
So then what about just like past seasons?
Oh, favorite line from like a past season? Can't Spell America Without Erica. That's great. Oh, come on. That's a classic. There's some really fun ones. Sorry you ate my cat. That was fun. That was actually improv. Not to brag or anything, but everyone was like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that was a fun one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I love Stranger Things.
Thank you.
Can't wait for season 4. If you had to choose an evil character to be, what would you be?
In anything?
Yeah.
Like all of evil characters?
Yeah.
Ooh, here we go. Think of superhero villains, because that's the first place your mind's got to go to. I think for evil characters, Joker's up there, but every person wants to do that, of course. Oh man, that's a good one, dude. I'm trying to think of that. Honestly, probably one of Spider-Man's villains, but I'm trying to think which one I might be able to do eventually. Maybe like a Harry Osborn Green Goblin type character. That'd be really, really fun.
And I have one more question.
Yes.
Is Dustin and Susie still together in season 4?
Oh, I can't get away with plot points, guys. Come on now. I mean, nice try, but that'd be very nice. I hope so. Because the thing is, I know if it's true or not, but I'm not telling you. Sorry, dude.
I'm trying to read you.
Yeah, seriously, I ain't giving nothing. Nothing. Thank you so much.
Hey, so my question is, are we gonna get any more Steve and Dustin moments from season 4? Because it is so creepy. Because I'm literally the living version of Steve Harrington.
Word! I like it. No, that's great. That's a good flex right there. Just be like, I literally am him. Like, I'm a living, breathing embodiment.
Like a bunch of the things he went through and a bunch of like literally everything.
Oh, sure.
He's exactly the same. I'm not gonna
Word.
get everything.
Hey, now, he goes through a lot, so I get it.
So,
Have you been beat up that many times? He gets the crap kicked out of him like weekly. Okay, word. That's the exception. I'm glad you don't get the crap kicked out of you frequently.
So, but there's like one person like kind of I have like a Steve and Dustin relationship. Like I took this kid.
That's always
down
fun.
for a while.
If you have a Steve and Dustin relationship in your life, you got a great relationship
And
in
literally
your
the
life.
banter and everything is exactly the same. So I just want to know if we're gonna get any more like Steve and Dustin.
For sure. Yeah. It'd be dumb if we didn't get stuff together. I mean, it's such a fun dynamic, and it's something I'm definitely excited for people. I mean, you can see it in the teaser.
Okay, nice. Thank you so much.
Good luck. Good job. You got something out of it.
Seriously. Hey, there you go. I know you got something. You got a little bit of something out of me. That's pretty
Easy
fun,
question.
huh? Dude, even that they're gonna yell at me over. I know for a fact. Oh man.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You as well.
I'm going back to you if we want to ask another question. Casually. So how does
Just
it end?
sprinkling in there. So what happens?
Yeah, that was a good one. I don't know how I'm gonna beat that.
Oh, word.
You just gotta be subtle and like you don't care, and he'll just give you whatever you want.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, are there any like special moments with your cast members, like last season or just in general that are like really memorable?
There's like 19,000 of them. That's the thing. It's like, but that's what's a great thing is that like it's hard to think of anything that stands out just because every single moment is just it's incredible. Like
Yeah.
it's just like it's a general experience. Those months in which I'm filming that show, it's constant, just energy and love, and it's what I love. It's like what gives me like fire and passion in my heart to keep doing it. Like getting to be a part of such an amazing project with such great people. I gotta think of something in particular though. Oh man. What's really fun is driving the golf carts around set. Because they have golf carts in which like the ADs and PAs and everybody who works on set can go from stage to stage quickly.
Golf carts are so fun.
It's so much fun. But the thing is, it's like, I didn't realize we could have done that whenever we wanted. And we didn't realize that until this past season. Which is a good thing, because season 1 we saw them and we were like 13 and we were still like, there's golf carts? And they're like, no. But now we're licensed drivers. So I like to drive them around. They like it when I drive them around because Sadie does not like driving the golf carts around. And I specifically remember that. I remember we were pulling up towards a parking spot on set and we were still going. And we were getting closer, and we were still going, and we weren't slowing down, and we were still going, and we even got a little closer, and we were still going, and she just ended up literally just hitting the sign and the curb in the golf cart, and she went, oops, and then she just died out. It was my favorite thing ever. Like literally, we were just full speed, just and it was literally fine. Like it literally just like bounced, like boing. It was pretty funny. And she literally was like, and that's why I don't do this. And then she got out. So that was pretty fun.
Oh my god. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey.
So I was just curious, so like, out of everything you've done in Stranger Things, so like, what is your favorite behind the scenes thing that you've done, maybe besides the golf cart?
Maybe besides the golf carts, favorite behind the scene thing that I've done. My favorite thing in the world is when they bring like food trucks to set. I'm serious. Sometimes like, dude, like anytime we do like night shoots and they feel bad for keeping us up from sunset to sunrise, they'll like bring a coffee truck in sometimes, and that's always really cool. And that's always really fun. Like I always end up getting way too caffeinated, and to the point at which like everyone's just like, oh, here it goes again. This is fun. Yeah.
What kind of thing happens when you get caffeinated?
I talk more than I'm doing right now, which is saying something. Yeah. I get so tired to a point at which the only way I can keep my eyes open is if my mouth is moving. And so we go down the craziest of rabbit holes, down like the craziest of conversations. For some reason, I remember we were sitting there and it was like 5 a.m. and I'm sitting next to Caleb and Sadie and I'm talking about why cats like do that when they snuggle you and how my cats do that and like the science behind like if they're weaned from their mothers too early and like it's like a replication of them like feeding and stuff and they're like, what are you talking about? And I was so confused as to why they were so like upset with me. Like they were like, it's 5 a.m. They're trying to sleep, and I'm like, yeah. So actually, if you wean them from their mothers too early, and then they're like, dude, shut up. And I'm like, I don't know why you guys. They're like, how do you know this? First of all, yeah, those escapades are quite fun. Thank you.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm living life.
So good, dude. I hate to bring down the mood and get a little heavy here, but
oh man.
Truth is, I was actually gonna bounce today until I remember your panel, and my cousins and my aunt are huge fans of your show as well, and
Word.
Unfortunately, my aunt is in the hospital right now.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
She's in serious condition, and I was just wondering if I could just do like a little quick video recording for support, because they're huge fans of the show.
Why don't I get one after the panel?
Yeah, sure, great.
That sounds great.
I appreciate that.
You have any questions about the show or anything? Because that's like something, that's not warrants of just a question. I'd for sure do that. You got any questions about the show?
I'm so focused on that I couldn't even think of a question. But,
Word.
Just that would really...
What's your name?
Christian.
Nice to meet you, Christian.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out, man. Alrighty, nice. What's up, dude?
No. Am I allowed to move the mic?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Wherever you need to.
Yeah. Just pick
You
it
can
up.
just take it off the stand if you want.
And Nick, you're not
Okay.
Come on.
I don't know how to do it. I'm just gonna.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like wrestling. Like the
Alright.
like yeah.
There you go.
So,
So.
my question is, who is your favorite actor to work with?
My favorite actor to work with, like, oh man, that's a great question. Like on Stranger Things specifically?
Yeah.
That's really hard. I don't really know the answer to that, I don't think, because I love everybody for so many different reasons. I think from a standpoint of like learning, and when you say like who's your favorite actor to work with, meaning like who do I feel like I learn the most about the work that I'm doing and stuff, it might be David, just because I don't get to work with him often, and anytime I do, there's just a presence about him that is like gives you an eagerness to impress and an eagerness to like feel determined and feel like you know what you're doing, because he takes what he does very, very seriously, and there's always a drive anytime he's on set. Like there's always a drive to do better, at least on my end. So that's always really inspiring, really, really cool to see what he does and how he does it. It's always really, really cool. Go for it. You're up here.
I searched up your name on YouTube for some reason,
Fun.
and
I do it
I
too.
saw an interview of you and mentioned that you like Star Wars.
I'm obsessed.
I want to know who is your favorite character.
Okay, so here we go. All right. So yeah, my dad's like checking the watch. I don't know. Like, okay, so we're talking OG trilogy. We're gonna. I think here's the thing: is Darth Vader is a character. Like not just as scary big bad guy, because what a presence that character has initially going in, like before that was ever really a big thing with that. He became like the iconic villain, but there's a genuine pain and a genuine grief that's constant, that's clear, and what I think is really incredible from James's performance initially is that even though there was no actually documented backstory of Darth Vader at the time, there was always that depression. He always just seemed like, not even just with the voice, it just like there was always that eagerness, and that maybe he didn't necessarily want to be doing what he was doing, but it felt like a necessity, and that always came clear to me even in like the first chapter. And so that's why I was really obsessed with Darth Vader as a whole. That he wasn't just scary and bad. I was like, what's up with this dude? He's not just a robot in a suit. Like there was a dude under there. There was always like somebody under there, which I was really excited to like learn more about as I started watching the prequels. Because I watched the originals first, because my mom raised me right.
Actually, I'm a taller situation.
Word. Good evening.
Oh, is this
I think in the front you got word.
There we go. There we go.
I think we've gone through the looking glass.
Exactly. Here we go.
Yeah,
Ready
can
to
everyone hear me?
Lucy. Yeah.
Awesome. So, as you well know, being in the Hollywood business, casting child actors is an incredibly difficult process.
Oh, yes.
And the main thing, and this is me speaking personally, the trio is probably the best acted set of child actors I've ever seen. You guys complete the show.
Thank you so much.
When you were
That
going
means a lot,
into
thank
this, honestly, it's a dude in the man, but how was the casting process? Because this is meticulous, because I've seen some terrible actors, and you guys just knocked it out of the park. How did they know who to get?
Well, I remember a quote that I love from Matt and Ross was, a lot of people asked them this, because I remember a lot of networks didn't end up greenlighting the show. Netflix was really ecstatic about it initially, and they knew that Netflix was going to be ready for it, and they knew that's probably the route they were going to go down initially. But they still expanded their options, and the main reason why nobody else greenlighted is because they thought it was going to jumble up too much. They thought it was going to be a Spider-Man 3 situation where there was just too much going on for anybody to really understand the story. And so a lot of them were like, we'll greenlight it if the kids are gone. And that's the thing, is they wanted it to be an investigative discovery. So they wanted to be a murder mystery, crime drama about finding a missing kid without a supernatural element, or they wanted us to go down the full sci-fi route, or they wanted us to be older. And it always came back to they weren't down with the concept of young kids leading a show. They were cool with the element, but they weren't down with the fact that the driving force behind the show would be the kids in their plot. And they were like, well, that's a deal breaker, so sorry, this is our show. And that's incredible. And I remember a quote that Matt and Ross, I don't know if it was Matt or Ross, but somebody asked, they said, how did you find the right kids? And they said, you find every kid that wants to act. And it was like, whoa. Yeah, they auditioned 900 boys to be in the show, and they auditioned, I believe it was 600 girls for a lot. Yeah, it was a lot, and they watched every single tape, and they considered every single person, and they treated every single kid with the respect that they would give any other actor who'd been doing it for a very long time. I also know that they were really big into casting theater kids. That they always went to New York for that. They always ended up really looking at that a lot. I had a theater background, Caleb had a theater background, Sadie had a theater background, and a lot of the other actors coming in afterwards also had a theater background. And maybe it's just there was just that experience here that they liked, maybe, I don't necessarily know, but they also liked to see how we worked together. I remember me and Finn, I'd only read with Finn, who was who I ended up working with on the show. He was the only person I ended up reading with who was cast in the show, and that was really important for them. I remember we did the first D&D scene, and they set up a little D&D board. They had the dice out there, and we got in the room. This is in LA after the final callback. They were just so excited to have us there, as excited as we were to be there. They sent this fake trailer that they made of a bunch of different clips from old 80s movies that was going to be just to see what the vibe of the show was going to be. And it still holds up. Their trailers still emulate the fake trailer that they made before they even cast the show, before they wrote these characters. And they sent a big concept book. They sent us the script. They FaceTimed us. They Skyped us because this was almost 7 years ago, 7 years ago. And but they were super ecstatic to be working with us, and that's what made it feel really good. We go in the room in LA, and we're in there for kind of 15, 20 minutes before we even start working. We just sat down at the tables with the D&D setup. I see Finn. I was like, how are you doing? His legs bouncing. I'm biting my nails. We're crapping our pants. This is incredible. It's a crazy experience. And we show up, and they just talk to us for 15, 20 minutes. They start laughing with us, talking about movies, talking about music, started playing with the dice, started laughing, and then they just started rolling.
My friend, you have been fantastic. Thank you so very much.
You've been fantastic.
What's up?
What's up?
All right. So my question is, what was the story behind the moment that you found out you got casted as Dustin?
Yeah. So this was right after that time, which I'm talking about. That day where we were in LA. First time I was in California. First time I was in LA. I was super excited. I was like, this is so fancy. And I flew back home. I think that night or the next morning, and I was driving home from the Newark airport, headed down home to South Jersey, where I'm from, and they called me. Apparently, I think they had tried to call me while I was on the flight, and but I got the call on the drive home, and they wanted to talk to me personally. Usually, an agent calls. Usually, they'll relay the message to your agent, and your agent will let you know. But they wanted to call me personally and let me know they're together on the phone. It was and they're so chill about everything. They didn't they were in the process of changing our lives for the rest of our lives. And they were just hey, so we just wanted to let you know that you're gonna be in the show. I was like, what? And I'm like, yeah, you're gonna be our Dustin. How does that feel? Do you want to? Like they asked that. They're like, we really wanted to offer you the role of Dustin. We didn't know if you want to or not. I'm like, what? Yeah. I just remember because it was right after I had finished Les Mis on Broadway, and I remember I was like, I'm gonna take a break. And so then I didn't take a break. And I was like, this is gonna be incredible. And I was just so ecstatic from the get-go. My mom was freaking out more than I was. I was like, chill out, I'm on the phone, I'm being professional right now. I'm like, yeah, that sounds really good. I'm really excited to be working with you. Meanwhile, I'm just like freaking out. This poor guy in the car in front of us is driving us home. He thinks he's gonna have to like swerve off the road like there's a family emergency. But yeah, no, it was just incredible. It was an incredible feeling. And then I asked him, like, did Finn get it? They're like, oh, well, we haven't cast anyone yet. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, you're the first one cast. I'm like, that's great. When am I gonna know? And they're like, oh. So I really wanted to text Finn and ask if he had gotten it, but I didn't want to be like, yo, I got it. Did you get it? And have him be like, no, I didn't get it. And I'd be like, ooh. So, yeah, no, I was really scared of that situation, but he ended up contacting me because he had known that I booked it. And then I found out Caleb was doing it. He had been a friend of mine from a while ago. We were on Broadway at the same time, not the same show, but we knew each other through mutual friends and through playing at the park on 43rd in between shows on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Oh man, memories. But yeah, that was really cool to know that there were going to be people I knew and somebody who I was really close with already. It was an incredible feeling.
All right, thank you, man.
Thank you. What's up? We need someone on standby, just hanging out by the mic.
Hello again.
Hello again.
My question is, besides theater, have you done any, is there any other acting experience or how you got into acting?
Well, it started off with my sister. My sister started acting when she was quite young, and she was doing community theater, regional theater, theater at school and stuff. And there was a friend of hers who was doing shows who was going up to New York and auditioning for professional work. And she asked my mom, she's like, can I try that out? And my mom's like, I don't know where to start. Found out through our voice teacher there was going to be a showcase in New York where managers and agents could go and scout new talent for them to represent. So she went and sang a song, did a monologue, and ended up getting represented. And at the meantime, and while we were there, her to-be manager, who is still my manager today, was like, you want to try it out too? I was like, yeah, I just wanted to be like my big sister. I had no idea what she was asking me to do. I just knew that I could sing a little bit, and then I could read something, and she signed me, and it just started from there, kind of by accident.
Okay, because I was thinking about maybe becoming a voice actor. Or...
Do it. Yeah, 100% do it. Yeah.
It's one of my passions.
Yeah, amazing. Then do it. That's the best advice I can give you. It's, I mean, representation is like key, like finding managers and agents, but you can do that online. It's super easy now. Headshots, resumes, all that jazz, and just get to it. It's a waiting game. There's going to be a lot of people saying no. There's going to be a lot of time in which you're going to be auditioning constantly and hearing no, but eventually someone's going to take that chance. And once you get that one job, it's easier to just keep booking. Because they like to see that you've been experienced. If you want to, then do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't want to end. He's got the sign in the end, he's saying like end, and I'm like, no. Oh man.
Unfortunately, we gotta end, guys. But let's
get one more question because like she. You know.
Hello.
Hi.
I love Stranger Things.
Thank you so much.
I think you play an amazing character.
Thank you
You're a
very
great
much.
actor.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have 2 questions if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
I was just wondering why you auditioned for Stranger Things.
They called me. It's not like it's like the way like the auditions work is your agent sends you out for as much stuff as possible for as much as the stuff that's going on, and the casting directors go back to your agent saying they want you to come for an audition, and it's not like there's any picking or choosing in that situation.
Yeah.
If an audition comes to you, you go and you do it, and they come to you whether they want you to keep going. It really isn't like you never get to necessarily pick and choose what I like. That looks like a cool show. I want to audition for that. Like they approach you, and you do it. You audition no matter what it is.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I was also wondering if you like to sing and dance.
I love to sing. I like to dance. I'm not good at it, So saying I like.
Having fun.
Yeah, I like having fun. I like dancing to have fun. But if like I were to do a show in which they were like, "How's your dance experience?" I'd be like. Yeah, I've completely lied on my resume too when I was younger. I was like, I have dance experience. I took like one combo class when I was 7. And I still say I have dance experience because of that. And then they're like, so you're going to do this dance number? I'm like, have fun with that. Sorry, I'm not. It's going to be bad. I can assure you that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Guys, I want to thank you guys. Give yourselves a round of applause. Give me a picture. You guys can see Gaten all in there. He's downstairs. Go see him, get pictures, get autographs, and you can ask your questions there, right? You can ask me.
Oh yeah.
Ask
You
me
can ask me
questions
questions down at the booth. Please
Guys.
do. Thanks guys so much.